Hey, welcome back to QOTD, the Question of the Day show, the game show where you get to be on the air and you can join us by recording your video answers to our awesome daily questions.
Yes, and you can also vote for your favorite answers to determine who makes it to the weekly Big Show Championship. That happens on Thursdays at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time.
We're going to show you how you can make it on the air for Thursday's Big Show. We're also going to take a look at some of our favorite fan answers to today's question, which is a battle of the pets. Cats versus dogs, yeah. Finally determining who's superior.
Momentous question.
Yes, one of the biggest questions we can ask. It's on par with, are we alone in the universe? Why are we the way that we are?
What's a nature distance? I mean, I just wanted you guys to know that I was a philosophy major, so I feel well equipped to take on weighty questions like this one. Don't, intimidate you. But
Ready to battle you intellectually.
Exactly.
Yes. Well, before we get into discussing today's question, we can first take a look at this week's answer leaders as they stand so far. So we begin with Friday's question, which is, what was the most memorable concert or music festival you've been to? I've talked for me about like Beyonce, I've talked about the Jonas Brothers, but I remember there was this music festival in New Jersey. I think it was in Springfield of like local artists, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, it's a very timely question because we've got Coachella going on right now with, two friends obviously playing. And then 10 days away is New Orleans Jazz Festival, which is one that I've like always desperately wanted to go to, but haven't done it. So I'm going to put that on my bucket list. Shades of questions, to come.
Yes. And also we have to talk about the Fire Festival.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to that. But before we get there, Saturday's question, our QOTD, was, what is a weird superstition of yours? I try to think about it myself as being a person of science, but whether you're talking about what goes around comes around, or don't talk about the future, or knocking wood, I kind of do it all. I'm bad. These guys have come up with some interesting superstitions, and you'll recognize them. And like I say, in this modern era, it's like a dirty secret. But, people came through and they admit the things that they're really superstitious about. So share yours.
Yes.
Yeah, where do I go? I want to pick up some new superstitions as well.
That's the opposite of what you're supposed to be trying to do. But there is a great selection to choose from. There's one that I have a lot of questions about, but we'll get to that a little bit later.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. So next we have Sunday's question, which is Alien versus Predator. Homer Simpson on Family Guy. What's the best crossover or cameo ever? We were talking about this a little earlier. I think the best one for me might be Phineas and Ferb meets Marvel Cinematic Universe. It was like this big special on Disney, and it was like Thor and Iron Man and Spider-Man hanging out with Phineas and Ferb. It was pretty iconic.
That is bizarre. Just bizarre. My favorite, I was going to say, is Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran, has been in 15 movies and television shows, besides being, awesome songwriter, singer. And he's been in Star Wars and Game of Thrones and a bunch of others. But the best was the cameo that he did in the movie Yesterday, where he plays, obviously, himself. I guess that's a true cameo. And he's essential to the plot. You guys see the movie? Yeah. Anyway, Ed Sheeran, he's awesome.
Ed Sheeran. So next we have the top 3 answers for Monday's question, which is for you.
Well, sorry. It was on my bucket list. I had to do it. We want to know, what bucket list item will you complete this year? And fitting with this week's theme, I want to go to music festival this year. Thinking whichever ones we got left that are stateside. I know there's a Governor's Ball in New York. Maybe I'll try and get over there.
I have heard good things about that show. Yeah. I'd go to New Orleans because it's got a great lineup. I mean, it's kind of like oldies, So Robert Plant is going to be there. I actually made a quick list. And Sheeran's going to be there, of all people. But it's in 10 days, so you're going to have to move quickly.
Ooh.
Get your hoop.
Yeah, we got to get down there.
Great town, good food, great music. It's famous for it.
I've never been, actually.
So good.
Yeah.
Such a great town.
Put that on the bucket list, too. I'm racking them up.
Yeah, speaking of bucket list, definitely gonna have to make a trip down there and experience the joy of New Orleans. Well, now for the moment we've all been waiting for. It is time to get into today's QOTD, which is, drumroll, dogs versus cats. Who is the best and why?
So I've been making fun of this one about it being kind of a silly question, but it does say something about us, right? It's like there are dog people and there are cat people, and they're different, right? And dogs, are like all over you and they love you and they fulfill some sort of need, right? And then cats are a little bit more, independent. Maybe it's a more mature relationship we have with our cats. And so I think that when we're talking about cats versus dogs, we're talking about, us, our tribe, the tribe of needy people, or the tribe of people who want to have no mice in their house. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, I feel like I was thinking about this question, and definitely the mice catching and the hunting aspect has come to mind. I'm personally not a huge fan of it, and in that case, my 2 dogs over the span of 16 years only brought an animal into the house once, and I babysat a cat for literally a couple of days, and 2 birds in the house. One hid under the couch, though.
So let me ask you, you're saying it's because dogs are cleaner than cats?
Not necessarily cleaner. I think just they don't bring the animals in.
Right. So you would rather have your dog drink out of the toilet and then come up and give you a big wet kiss. I hear you.
Yeah.
They're both disgusting. Why do we live with
To each his own. Exactly. Funny enough, I babysat a cat for like 7 days and I never saw it. So cats are really just, they're wild like that. You never know.
Yeah. Kinetic art, I sometimes think about them as. I do both. I've got both dogs and cats. For my many moods.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think you can. I don't think people they dislike cats or dogs. I think it's just a matter of which one you like more, because they're both pretty great. Well, we have our opinions on this, but we also have a lot of opinions from fans, even though the question is just a few hours old. So we wanted to highlight one of our early favorites and a deciding factor in this question, because I think who better to answer it than the fans? So, receiving the honor of being the final decision on this question, the set answer, we have Andrew. Let's take a watch.
I say neither dogs nor cats. In fact, I think bunnies are the best. Why? Because they're fluffy and they're very obedient.
God, what a cop-out!
Mind-blowing. Revolutionary.
Yeah, he's an out-of-the-box thinker and provides a counterpoint to all this talk of mice versus chasing away burglars.
Exactly. We were so focused on dogs versus cats, we didn't stop to think about how great other pets are.
The secret third thing.
Yes, the bunny, conejo.
Exactly. Well, we have that question, and today's question is fantastic and very interesting, but it is not the only one you can answer. We actually have 4 other ones so far this week, and we wanted to take a moment to highlight one of the other answers to those questions. So receiving the honor of most stitious for her answer to Saturday's question, what is a weird superstition you have? We have Brianna's answer.
I would say a weird superstition of mine. Well, growing up, it used to be step on a crack, break your mom's back. Now, I'm kind of scared of splitting the pole. It was never really like my superstition, but, I think I let other people get in my head. So definitely, if we're walking down the street, do not split the pole with me.
So I had to ask for help on this. I didn't really know what splitting the pole was. JJ explained it to me, and now I'm like, forget it. I'm never going to split the pole with anybody, because if you walk on different sides of the pole, your relationship is over, right? You've split up. And therefore, now that explains why my relationships really didn't go that well as a younger person.
I was going to say you're forcing me to look back at the past and be like, it was doomed from the start.
If only you had known. And my dog always tries to walk on like the wrong side of everything, every pole. But that's why we have a leash. I drag him around to my side, that we're going to maintain that relationship forever. So split the pole. That is so far our most favorite answer. But we have plenty of opportunities to still record your answer. Go to the website and maybe make it to the Thursday Big Show, because we've got, I guess, 2 days left for everybody to submit answers. You got to get them done before 8:30 a.m. on Thursday in order to appear on that live show, where it's kind of a competition among all the very best answers. It's 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, 12:30 GMT, and it's right here on beyondtheair.com, as well as on YouTube, where QOTD Games is our handle, and also on Twitch. So check it out, 8:30 a.m.
Yes, definitely tune in. It's a really great time. It's coming up. I'm very excited. To record your answer for that big show, you can go to beyondtheair.com and click the orange record button under the 24/7 live game stream. Remember, you can still answer today's question or any of this week's other questions to tell us what you think about dogs versus cats. Tell us more about your opinions on splitting the poll, and for your chance to be on the air with us.
While you're at beyondtheair.com, you can also play the guess and bid game. Let's say that you're still thinking about what answer you're going to record, or maybe you're a little shy. This is another way of getting on the air. You bid stars on the answers that you think are going to make it to the big show. And when your answer wins a round, you move up the leaderboard. And when you do, you can make it to the show, by showing up on the leaderboard like these guys right here.
Yes, the best guess and bid game, the best and good game.
The guess and bid game.
Yes.
Elocution.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us for today's recap show, and a very special thank you to everyone who's watched, voted, and recorded so far this week. We are QOTD and beyondtheair.com signing off. We'll see you on TV.
Hey, Reed, dog versus cats. Who are you?
I'm going to say cats.